Greetings, my paranormal patrons. This is the Monstrous Women Podcast Patreon, a space where horrible humans can talk a little bit more about horror. My name is Tyia, and I'm joined by my Coven,
Mila,
Louisa,
and Zeba.
And this is our bonus Patreon episode. Thank you to all of our special May Queens for supporting us.
In this episode, we are going to tackle the 2013 shark survival film Sharknado, directed by a true artiste, Anthony C. Ferrante. In this chaotic horror, an unprecedented tornado caused by climate change somehow lifts man-eating sharks into the air and releases them onto an unsuspecting public while simultaneously flooding LA. Beach bar owner and surfer Finn and his friends Nova, George, and Baz set out to rescue Finn's estranged wife, April, and teenage daughter Claudia from the floods and sharks.
We're gonna throw bombs into the tornadoes.
Too dangerous. Too many of them. We're gonna need a bigger chopper.
Claudia, move!
It's time to leave Kansas, mate.
It's so important to me that you mentioned the climate change bit, because that one in the rewatch, I was like, wait a second. This is actually genius commentary. They are climate refugees.
I was actually going to ask you guys, how would you analyze this film if we were pretending that it's good?
What do you mean pretending?
I'm not pretending. On this rewatch, I was actually like, listen. It's giving plot. It's giving structure. I'm like entertained the whole way through. I am constantly shocked and surprised. Like, okay, when we watched it all together, I thought it was a bad movie. When I watched it this very morning, I was like, I don't know. I'm having a better time than I've had with a lot of the films we watched for this here podcast, actually.
It does beg a rewatch.
It begs a
rewatch.
rewatch.
I mean, we discussed like the fake science and like Deep Blue Sea, and at least I felt like that fake science made sense. But this one, not necessarily.
Makes sense.
I mean, a shark hurricane would have made more sense.
It starts as a shark hurricane.
Also, California is not really a place where tornadoes are, but I guess because of climate change, I guess that works as a plot. Also, the acting was really bad, and the characters were all...
It wasn't bad, it was simply postmodern.
No, it was really good.
And then that whole thing where they cut the girl out of the shark, and I'm like, child, she would have suffocated. That's how this works.
You mean the best part?
That is a reference to Saint Margaret the Virgin, who cuts herself out of a dragon's stomach. I think it's a modern day reference. I think it's historical. I think it's academic. I think it's amazing.
This movie is written by a man, so none of that is true.
Tyia, fake science aside, you know what's truly haunting about the tornado aspect is in all other shark movies, I'm good as long as I'm on land. These bring sharks to the land. You're never safe from them. They're around every corner.
You need to watch Sand Sharks / Ice Sharks, I believe it's called.
You know what really makes me angry about this film is that Sci-Fi pretty much gave their network and said, this is no longer Sci-Fi, this is just Sharknado Network. Like, it makes no sense.
When you have a good thing going, though.
We literally said on like an episode ago that we thought it was messed up how they only show this on rotation.
I believe none of us agreed.
I wonder how much they pay this man to make this movie. Because he makes all of them. It's the same guy. I wonder how much they pay him.
All the other ones can kick rocks, honestly, to me. The original's the only one I care about. The rest
You're
of them...
a purist. Yeah.
Yeah, there are 6. We can go through each sequel title.
I'd love to hear them all.
The first one is Sharknado. The second one is Sharknado 2. The second one. Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no. Sharknado The Fourth Awakens. Creativity there.
Wow.
The fifth one is Sharknado 5. Global Swarming. And the last one is The Last Sharknado Is About Time. It took them 6 movies to kill them?
It's so self-aware. It's about time. It was.
It was about time. So in the fourth one, there is a Sharknado that hits oil and is an oil-nado, and then fire-nado, and then there's a hail-nado, and another one that becomes a lava-nado when it hits a volcano.
So they innovate.
Yeah.
So they evolve.
Yeah.
Is there just tornadoes in different places? Why would it become specific?
I can't believe you'd flatten it like that. There's a cow-nado that becomes a lightning-nado. There's a nuke-nado, which has radioactive sharks.
Whoa there. Pause. Are you telling me that their sharks are involved in all of these iterations?
Yes.
I was under the impression you were just nuke NATO.
Shark.
I was like, right, a NATO full of nukes, but also there's sharks.
Of course there's sharks. And then in global swarming, you can teleport via the tornado, and they're in space now throughout all of these sequels. It's kind of, they're like flying around or whatever. And the planetary vortex threatens to swallow the planet, and it does. So in the final NATO, they have to go back in time to like dinosaurs to stop Sharknadoes from ever happening.
This is the worst thing I have ever heard. I can't believe that they gave someone money to make this. And there are like filmmakers out there with legitimately wonderful ideas who can't get funding, and they fund 6 Sharknadoes.
It was too many. I'll give you that. It was too many.
We could have just had 1 or 2. I give you that. But I think there's a place for bad movies.
To make it worse, after they got done with letting this man make 6 of these movies, they then gave him money to make Zombie Tidal Wave, which he's also going to make into multiple movies.
I don't know if he directed also Sharktopus, like Dino Croc versus Super Gator, that sort of offshoot of sci-fi made for television movies. But they're really good as well. I would really recommend Sharktopus if you like Sharknado. I actually like Sharktopus even better than Sharknado.
I agree with what Louisa said. There is space for bad movies, for pure entertainment.
But not this many.
Yeah, 6 was excessive.
Like, the first one, I was like, this is a fun shoot-the-shit thing. I can laugh at this. But when he made 6, I said I can no longer take this as a joke. This is a crime against humanity to continue to make these. Like, I can't. Also, I know they spent at least $1 million on each one, which makes me even angrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all those amazing special effects. They really do need the budget.
Also, the cast, because they found, like, at least one, like, kind of big-name washed-up person per movie. They have David Hasselhoff in the 4th one. They also have Cynthia Bailey from Real Housewives of Atlanta in one, which is even randomer.
Tara Reid plays the wife, and Cassie whatever plays Nova.
Yeah, she's in that Bring It On sequel, In It to Win It.
I love Bring It On.
Fucking love that film. It has like a Girl Like Me era Rihanna in All or Nothing.
She was the judge.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I actually used to enjoy the Bring It On movies when I was a teenager. Just like I used to enjoy, like, those little...
Oh, yeah.
Not Another Cinderella Story or Another Cinderella Story.
Oh, I disagree with you.
I
don't think I saw that.
Those, and I liked Mean Girls and stuff when I was younger as well. Although, recently I saw Mean Girls as an adult, and I realized that almost all of the humor in it was race humor, and I felt deeply uncomfortable.
Does it? I haven't seen Mean Girls in a while.
I can't remember that. I only remember if you're from Africa, why are you white? That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's a couple things in there. I was like, oh, I did not get this until now. White Chicks also has like a lot of stuff that I'm like, this is not quite Leon's.
That one doesn't surprise. I cannot believe Eddie Murphy. I'm still shocked that Eddie Murphy pulled a White Chicks in fucking, what was the film?
Vampire in Brooklyn.
And 2 of us didn't even realize. I had no idea.
It took me a minute. I watched that scene for a while before I was like, that's Eddie Murphy again.
I knew he was the preacher. I just didn't realize he was the Italian guy.
I haven't seen any of his more recent stuff, but I think he's gone like a bit more serious. Like Adam Sandler as well has started to go a bit more serious in films instead of comedy. Honestly, comedy acting is really hard though, and that's why none of these people were good actors.
I'm not sure. Was it supposed to be a comedy?
I just saw a quote from Tara Reid, and she was like, I mean, with the plot so ridiculous, you have absolutely no choice but to kind of not take it seriously. So I think they were all playing it like comedies.
Because it couldn't be like real horror, because the concept isn't really scary, because it's just like too much suspension of belief has to occur for it to be scary.
Also, I don't think I'd be that scared. I don't know why. I'm just sort of like, I'll just move away.
But you just said on the episode that getting eaten alive sounds very scary.
I wouldn't quite believe that a shark that was caught up in a tornado would be a threat immediately.
So you would be Colin, and Colin dies for being a hater.
But the sharks are also going through a trauma. I think we're forgetting about that their whole habitat has been upended by a tornado. Yeah. They don't know where they are. They've never been to LA.
They need a tour guide.
I mean, imagine how much the ocean's entire food chain would be upset from all the sharks being caught up in tornadoes.
They said in the beginning 20,000 sharks. That's so many.
That's so many. That's so many sharks.
They're like, this is a pod or whatever, or like, I don't know what they're called, a group of sharks. Like, this is a pod of 20,000 sharks. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure most sharks are endangered. Like, you're lucky if you get like 10 to 15 sharks.
Wait, so there were 20,000 in that tornado?
Yeah, just in LA.
I think they might have overestimated how many sharks there are in the ocean.
Yeah, that's where they messed up.
But like, there were no other fish. It was just sharks. There were no turtles.
The latest study estimates that as of 2018, there were 266 white sharks, I guess, like, around Northern California. This is just one page. That gives some indication of how wildly they've overestimated 20,000 sharks. If there's only, like, 266, like, near and around Northern California, I don't know about Southern California, but yeah. I'm also not sure if that many shark species are even in LA, because they were showing like all different types of species in that tornado.
If they would have put it in Australia, it might have been a bit more realistic.
Or even Florida. Florida man uses chainsaw to get out of shark after being swallowed. I'd believe that.
When they were escaping and the girl is like, the girl who was at the bar, she's like, oh, that's a tiger shark. And they're like, how do you know that? She's like, ugh. Shark Week. I was like, that's Louisa,
That is
in this
Louisa.
situation. Like, completely unhelpful, but you know every kind of shark.
Completely unhelpful in every situation.
Completely unhelpful.
Great, I'd love to know what's about to eat me.
Yeah. It is nice. You don't want to be ignorant. You don't want to die ignorant.
Rather than like sharks being on the street, if they said like there were bears on the street, I would be like,
But that's
oh, bears.
believable that there would be bears roaming the streets.
They came back to take back their territory after people have cut down the forests to build cities. See, that's a better climate change plot. And I gave it to them for free.
How would you guys survive Sharknado? What's your Sharknado survival plan?
I don't have to worry about it because I can't swim, so I would drown before they could eat me. I'm not really that pressed.
Okay, so Tyya's drowning. Mila, what are you doing?
I'm dressing up as a shark and going undercover.
Okay. Very Perry the Platypus of you.
Do you think sharks don't attack each other?
I didn't see any in the film.
I think they would turn on the one that feels a little bit like fabric.
The one who feels a little off.
No, I do a good job of it.
Wait, actually, we know they feel like sandpaper.
I would buy sandpaper and stick it all over myself.
What if the Meg was in the Sharknado?
I feel like they missed that opportunity for worlds to collide. Because imagine a tornado with the Meg in it.
No, listen, because they're completely different filmmakers.
Don't disrespect them. Come on now. Come on now.
I admire the fact that they thought the Meg could be a huge blockbuster movie in this century.
Like the Victorian era
Back
was
when the Meg was roaming around.
A movie like the Meg in like the 80s, it would have become like a classic horror film.
That's true, actually.
But like this was
okay.
just not the right time.
Zeba, what would you do to survive this film?
Oh, I wouldn't. I'd be much like the bus driver, who's my favorite character, the best actor, with also the best lines, and just like complain until somebody like came and got me, and then still probably fall.
Yeah. I tried to do a Sharknado quiz to see how long I'd survive, but it was like making me fill in too many details. And one of the options, though, is like you would A, be the person with the chainsaw helping people, B, like hide, C, like follow the person with the chainsaw. And I was like, yeah, I'll follow the person with the chainsaw.
We can say who we think each of us would be in the movie.
I guess I would be Nova, who's knows the names of the sharks, but she's not useless. She's pretty helpful.
No, she does help later on.
I don't think I would have I don't have the upper arm strength to like stab like a stake through a shark head, so I don't think I could be her, but I'd probably be the April, the wife, or the bitchy teenage daughter who has too many issues with her parents to get through the situation.
Yo,
I was gonna vote myself as a teenage daughter, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still really enjoy coming of age movies, so I think my teenage identity has still got too much of a stronghold on my personality.
Mila, who would you be?
I don't remember them. I am the collective pod of sharks.
all 20,000.
Oh, it's not a pod of sharks, it's a shiver of sharks.
A shiver? That's so cool.
A shiver! I love that. I should have had that in the shark facts.
I can't believe you didn't know, you fake shark person.
Fake fan. Fake fin.
Oh.
Sharks are not like an animal that people get tattoos of, even though people love to get tattoos of animals that are predators.
I would.
Because that's shark phobic. They're not predators to us.
I mean, neither lions. Neither lions or scorpions, but they are in, like, their respective parts of the
Okay, but those are
kingdom.
zodiac signs. That's why people get them.
No, people get other stuff too, like cheetahs.
You see how many cheetahs tattoos you see?
A lot.
Sharks don't seem to be prevalent in like any sort of mythology, right?
Which is mad because they're like one of the old, like they're like over 400 million years old. Yeah, so you'd think there'd be references.
Oh, they creep me out. They've seen too much.
Yeah, I like how in Jaws they were like sharks can live thousands of years, but it's like the documented age that we have so far is like 60 years for a shark. I don't know where they got thousands of years from, but as a species, they're old as fuck.
Yeah, they're with the dinosaurs, and that's always cool.
The dinos.
Gators, hate them. So scary. So scary. I've never seen one, but I'm really scared.
My dad was chased by one. He was being a dumbass, though. He thought it was a log, and it was not. And he said that the gator wasn't interested in him, and that's the only reason he got away.
Did you know they can climb? I saw a video of one climbing up onto somebody's balcony. They were like filming it from above, and then it jumped, and then it climbed onto their balcony.
I guess if you get like bitten by a shark, I mean, obviously it hurts. I don't think their mouths are as like dirty as gators, but like if you get bitten by a gator, like your leg might have to come off because they have so much like filth in their mouth.
Do you want to hear some IMDb trivia?
Boys, do I?
The first fact, which I think we will all be extremely shocked to know, is that it was only shot in 18 days. This kind of a masterpiece.
Wow.
What?
Wait, that actually is shocking to me. I can't do anything in 18 days.
Yeah.
I feel like it takes us more than 18 days to make a podcast.
Yeah, to make one
episode.
episode.
To decide what movies we want to watch till final cut, it's more than 18 days.
Yeah, for sure. It actually is. That's so funny.
This isn't a trivia fact, but it's something that in the summary video that I watched, they pointed out, is that this film ends with a intertitle that says Finn, which is probably the smartest thing that's ever been done in cinema. And I think we should acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Even Jaws didn't do that. Stupid.
That reminds me of like when you wanted to be original in like elementary school and they said, "Are you here today?" And you said present.
Present.
Everyone who said present was a big personality. They were like soon to be jocks or theater kids.
My favorite line from the whole movie is when they're in the house and I forget who dies. Oh, this like boyfriend of the ex-wife. I don't know. I think when he gets eaten, they're like, "Oh, looks like the time of the month in here." And then just like a really long shot of bloody water.
I missed that. I was going to ask you guys, do you think there's any Mon Femme themes? And there we have it.
Everybody was breasting boobily as well throughout.
There are also many homages to Jaws, as you can expect.
Unafraid to reference or not to reference.
Exactly. There's the "we're going to need a bigger chopper" line, pulled from the "we're going to need a bigger boat" line. There's also, this isn't Jaws, but it's another Spielberg film, apparently. People run away from the loose Ferris wheel, like Indiana ran from the boulder in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That one's loose. That's
a
loose.
reach.
Yeah.
I thought the beginning was supposed to be Jaws, where the guy's talking about the 20,000 shark pod, and he like is gonna hire this fisherman or somebody. I don't know who that man was to like take care of it, and he's like $1 million and I'll take care of your shark problem. And then he's like, "No, I'll give you 500,000." And then he's like, "Well, when this baby hits, you're gonna think $1 million was a bargain." I thought that was very much like the scene where Quint enters
Interesting.
Jaws, and he's like, "Pay me money and I'll fix your shark problem."
I had a Sharknado quiz that we could all collectively do.
Like a trivia quiz or like a personality quiz?
Well, it's a determine if this happened in real life or Sharknado quiz.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
The quiz is on time.com and it's plot point or real life shark encounter. So, after sustaining a shark bite on his foot, a man escapes death by punching the shark twice in the face.
True.
That's a plot
That is
point.
how you do it.
Okay, majority says real life, so I'm going to go with real life. Yeah, it's right. After a huge wave, I have an inkling about this one. After a huge wave thrusts the shark onto a boardwalk, a man kills it with a stool he had been sitting on.
I'm gonna say that's a
That's
plot point.
Sharknado.
That's Sharknado.
We are correct. The 3, a shark stranded in the middle of a road is run over and killed by an ambulance.
I say it's real life.
No. 4, airborne sharks are killed
Real
by
life.
bombs dropping
life.
from a... Should I say real life for jokes?
What do you mean for jokes? That's
It's
the correct
wrong.
answer. What?
It is incorrect. A pod of dolphins creates a protective shield around a group of
False.
swimmers to
I mean,
save
not
them
real.
That is
from
definitely real
attack.
life.
It's real life.
Wow, I thought dolphins were mean.
What? They're the sweetest.
No.
We just talked about how they were rapists.
Yeah, but they do help. They hate sharks. Like, they're capable. They're quite aggressive toward sharks. So.
That sounds like racism to me. That sounds like prejudice.
Not you guys slandering dolphins.
They're racist rapists. A group of golfers happens upon a golf course water hazard infested with man-eating sharks. I'm gonna say Sharknado.
I'm gonna say it's real life.
Sounds like real life. Yeah.
I don't remember that happening in Sharknado.
Oh my god, it's real life. Okay, but there are no such thing as, like, man-eating sharks, so they shouldn't have said that.
Oh yeah. Maybe you should write in, Louisa.
That's prejudice. A dangerous shark is killed on air on network television.
I'm gonna say real life.
It is wrong. But I think that's wrong, because I think the broadcaster is killed on air, not the shark. A child's severed arm is retrieved from the inside of a shark who ate it and then reattached to his body.
Real life.
I think real life. That is real life. God, when did that fucking happen?
I don't know. The more we do this quiz, the more I'm starting to believe that Sharknado is not an impossibility.
9th question. A man kills a shark from the inside using a chainsaw.
Yeah, real life. Real life.
Inspired by real life.
Inspired by St. Margaret. After a ship is destroyed by torpedoes, sharks nearly devour 600 passengers thrown into ocean waters.
Oh shit. I hope that's not real life.
I think that's real life.
Indianapolis.
It's real life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We got 8 out of 10 because one we got wrong and one we got wrong for shits and giggles. So
That's how I describe all my feelings.
I got it wrong on purpose. It's okay. Shits and gigs.
thank you for listening to the Monstrous Feminine Patreon. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, SoundCloud, and Spotify at The Monstrous Feminine Podcast and on Twitter at The MonFemPod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts to be our next Witch of the Week in our main episode. We also have a TikTok. Follow us at The Monstrous Feminine Pod for podcast clips and more fun. Brooms up, witches out.